Siblings of narcissists, psychopaths or sociopaths, what's your experience? When I was 10, my mom put a lock on my door because my brother started threatening to kill me and my mom in the night. When I was 14, he fixated on my mom and threatened to burn down our house, shoot my whole family, and steal all the valuables and drive away. That same year, he was 17. He took our car and ran away from home for 2 weeks. We ended up calling the police on him. When he came home, the police decided that it would be best if he lived somewhere else, so he did. As we were cleaning out his room, we found hundreds of knives, a handgun, lighter fluid, gasoline and lighters. He sounds lovely. I was playing with a suitcase while watching TV. I was small enough to fit myself in it. My brother, nearly 4.5 years older than me, saw what I was doing and asked to zip me up in it. After already having learned to never trust him, I asked mom to watch us to make sure he didn't do anything stupid. He zipped me up inside the suitcase and started carrying it in a shuffle step. Thump, thump, thump. I heard the sliding door to the enclosed patio open. Mom started screaming and I could hear her slapping my brother repeatedly. The suitcase fell over onto its side with me still in it. I managed to pry open the zippers from the inside and got myself out of the suitcase as quickly as possible. Mom was still slapping at my brother, screaming why. I was 2 feet away from being dumped inside a suitcase into the family hot tub. He laughed and said that I would have floated. What's the big deal? So, yeah, that's what it was like growing up with a sociopath. My daughter was hit by a drunk driver when she was 12 and nearly died. She was in a coma for 2 weeks and I was there all day every day, except to go home to shower and change. My sister decided that when I was at the hospital was the perfect time for her and her druggy girlfriend to jimmy the sliding door off the track, break in and steal everything she could find. Jewelry, my camera, and yes, my daughter's piggy bank. The bee stole the piggy bank from a comatose kid. I'm so sorry. I hope that your daughter is doing better now and that your terrible sister has left you all alone. My sister has never been diagnosed with narcissism or a personality disorder other than OCD, but when we were younger she often enjoyed telling people before I met them that I had a difficult relationship with the truth so that they wouldn't want to be around me. I had the reputation of a liar and no friends for most of my preteen years, and she was popular in our homeschool group until she left and got into high school. After she left, I still didn't have friends, but neither did she, and she blamed me for it during her frequent temper tantrums. She would throw things, scream, cry, and threaten me with kitchen knives on a pretty regular basis. All of a sudden, the year that I turned 17 and she turned 21, the tantrums stopped and she got engaged. He moved in with us. The tantrums started again, and for once I wasn't the target. The worst fight they had happened when she caught him looking at a photo of a bikini model, which she considered cheating. She hit him full force with an open palm, and when our mum saw, she threatened to kick her out if she hit him again. They got married, moved out, and divorced within a year of him enlisting in the army. He had to get away, somewhere with less violence. When she threw a cup of hot tea at my face because I refused to show her something on the computer. Or the time when she yelled at me for over an hour because I was really sick and had thrown up all over the bathroom sink. The same bathroom she had just cleaned. I stopped speaking with her over 7 years ago. They can make drama out of any situation and will try to drag you into it even years later. Example, I am the next to youngest. My whole family is a crap show, but when I was planning my wedding, I was still trying to pretend I had a reasonable family. My future husband's family was like Leave It to Beaver, so I asked both of my sisters to be bridesmaids. I knew this was a risk, but I hoped they could keep their crap together for a single evening. At the time, I thought they had. About 8 years later, we were in the same city because one of our brothers was in the hospital due to a bad car accident. We had one hotel room across the street from the hospital so people could go rest when they needed to. I was in that room with my oldest sister when she said, "You know, middle sister, stole wine glasses from your wedding, right?" I told her I didn't care. A couple of hours later, I was in that room with my middle sister. She said, "You know, older sister, stole glasses from your wedding, right?" I also told her I didn't care. So here we are. waiting to see if our brother was going to die, and both of these are playing reindeer games with me, trying to make me be angry with the other one. Our brother lived. I've cut contact with all my siblings because they are all like this. They have to start crap no matter what the situation or consequences. It's interesting really. My mom died recently. When I called my sister to come down the day before she died, she said I thought she was going to die today. I'm not disappointed, but I can't keep missing work. The next day I called her to come to the hospital again as the doctor, and I made the decision to take her off the ventilator. On the phone she said, well, can we pull out the tube as soon as I get there because I have plans tonight. She also proceeded to ask me for rent money that day, as I also live with her. The things they say, and don't realize how messed up it is really baffling. Dang, I feel bad every day about not being there for the moment my dad passed. I remember telling my mom I can't watch it on the phone and feeling like such a piece of crap, but hearing about people like this make me realize I had a more normal reaction than that at least. She called the cops and CPS, repeatedly accusing our stepdad of child abuse. It usually lined up with her having rules and punishments. She didn't like that my parents did research on how to raise a psychopath that doesn't become a murderer. They suddenly knew all her tricks and tactics. I sometimes think about how sad it must be to be physically incapable of feeling human emotions, but it clearly would only hold her back. Forgiving is only something you can do after you feel ready for it. No one can force you to forgive. It's so entitled of others to try to do so. Lived an entire lifetime not being aware that it isn't normal to run to your bedroom and hide when dad gets home. That it isn't normal to be scared of your parents' reactions to, well, anything. Becoming a mom and having little kids that I just looked at and knew I could never beat them up for picking a flower, or shame them for not knowing how to hang a shelf, or throw grubs at them if they come outside, or throw potato salad at them if they say they don't want any. Yeah, it wasn't normal, and only just now am I realizing all of that. I want to have nothing to do with him and his family. My parents can't cut ties with him, and it breaks my heart how he treats them. Hi, I think we might be the same person. Hoping it gets better for you somehow. I haven't spoke to my brother in 3-4 years. Last time I did he went after my wife, and that was the last straw for me. Since then, my parents have cut him off. He lost his job, and his life has spiraled. Not sure what he is up to now, but my quality of life has improved with him not in it. They're insane, and always mad about something petty. Somehow everything is related to their projected social image, regardless of context or content. You feel your life isn't your own. Everything will revolve around them, constantly causing drama and trouble. Sister who would steal from you. Never-ending drama. Tried to steal my boyfriend repeatedly. Actually broke into one sister's house and robbed her. Can't tell the truth ever. Disowned her about 10 years ago after her awful treatment of terminally ill mother. Peace since then. Older brother, highly narcissistic, same with my mother. Verbally cruel and manipulative, and always project blame onto others, never acknowledging their own behavior. I do not speak with either over them. My brother for over 5 years and my mother for over a year. Growing up, she had total control of my life. She criticized what I wore, listened to, ate, everything. If I was different, I was weird. If I liked what she liked, then I was copying her. She tried to scare me multiple times with guns and knives, claiming she never would actually hurt me, but she would hold up a samurai sword to my throat and tell me if I moved I died. Eventually she had a kid when she was 19 and I was 16. And for a year she was a good mother, and then decided she didn't want to be a mom anymore. I've seen her ruin countless people's lives, spanning from just stringing them along to drowning their bank accounts to contributing to them being put in jail for domestic abuse. She's still waiting for trial on her charge. I despise her and she is not family to me. I had so many issues growing up that only stemmed from things she did to me, and I don't want to see my niece grow up like that. My parents are doing a wonderful job of raising her, but she doesn't understand why mommy isn't there, and it breaks my heart. It's better for the child to not have contact with her. Better an absent mom than a sociopath treating you like an object. Brother was doted on as a child because he was gifted at basketball. Literally had no consequences growing up and could do whatever he wanted. treated me and our parents like absolute crap and they still doted on him, while I would get the belt for the most benign and asinine stuff. My brother's life is absolute crap right now. He has no sense of self-worth and just gets handouts from my parents. He is in his late 30s and my parents are giving him money for rent and food. He wants everyone to feel sorry for him and expects everything to be handed to him. He can't do anything on his own and guilt trips and manipulates my parents into doing whatever it is he needs doing for him or just giving him extra funds. He has no incentive to change and is content playing video games all day while my parents just enable his lifestyle. At holidays he just talks down to me and tries to make me feel bad about how difficult his life is. I could care less about him and have no desire to talk to him until he makes some serious changes in his lifestyle and life choices. The best revenge is living well. My sister has dialed down her act a bit. After we have all spent a few years out of our aging NPD butthole father's house, I mostly remember a massive sense of entitlement that simply made no logical sense and would require a great deal of cognitive dissonance to explain. Like, she would never loan me things, CDs, EXE, but had no problem walking straight into my room, in front of my face, to take a bottle of body lotion to use on herself. She seemed to have no remorse for what her behavior did to others, so long as she got what she wanted out of the deal. Sometimes, she would just do and say mean and spiteful things for no reason. I talked to her from time to time. While is less of a self-involved sociopath, she still is insufferably self-righteous. Ugh, my sister was like that. I was never allowed to borrow her clothes, even when I asked. But she would go to my closet and take whatever she wanted. I ended up having a specific hanger for every shirt I owned. I could look at my closet and know what was missing by the empty hanger. It's always difficult to share my problems with them because they also had that same problem at some stage of their life and it was much harder for them than that is for me apparently. Mom, narcissist. Dad, alcoholic. Possible narc. Self-centered coward. Brother, golden child. Me, family scapegoat. Still working through the BS and healing at age 57. It can be done. He never got a diagnosis, but he's good at deceiving. He always just tried to get all the attention, cried to get me punished, so he could spend more time playing with my PlayStation. I saved my money for myself. I ended up being the black sheep. My mom constantly threatening to call Child Protective Services. If I wouldn't have been so unknowing, I would have preferred that. He was always sick and he was always the victim. So much that they ended up forgetting me at home when they went to my grandparents and didn't realize it until they heard me crying alone at night behind a couch. There is a lot of fricked up stuff I'm not including, but it wasn't just emotional terror. He willfully abused the whole relationship to my family, so we started to estrange one another. I confronted him a lot, so years later he's on a different route and tries to be himself, rather than a victim. I still don't want to be around anyone here. It burns on my skin to even get near, but it's not as bad as being in the situation and having to deal with it. I'm not even totally sure of my older brother's diagnosis, but several years ago I found out through his journal that he had an elaborate plan to murder me and had apparently attempted to before, but couldn't go through with it. His reasoning was mostly because I was mean to him as a child, but really he was the one cruel to me? The part that really freaks me up is that both my parents knew about his wish to kill me and never said anything to me. Let us sleep under the same roof. They always coddled and treated him differently than me. He is severely mentally ill, likely a psychopath, has been in a mental hospital now for several years. I cut contact with my parents as soon as I moved out. Oh god, where do I begin? She fed my hamster to our cat because I wouldn't let her name it. She woke me up when I was sleeping in my mom's bed by punching me and then proceeded to break my index finger with the door when I fought back, just because she wants to sleep there that night. She also poured bleach over my clothes cause she was mad that I was doing laundry when she needed to. Honestly, there's a whole lot more, but those are some of the major stuff. My dad is as much of a narcissist as it gets. I didn't realize that it was abnormal until I moved out of the house and out of state. When I finally came back, I remember him calling me one day to tell me to give him $10 because he claimed he needed to grab something to eat. Sorry, but I don't have $10 to give you. You don't have $10 to give your dad? Come on, I'll pay you right back. I just need it to go down to the store so I can eat. I don't have it, so you'll have to put on your big boy pants and make some money for yourself. Well, I was gonna ask your sister, but I don't wanna ask her because she's my daughter, you know? I hung up after that. A few minutes later he calls me and says, hey, your sister just sent me the $10. See, it wasn't that hard. A couple months later I heard that he was still asking my sister for money, and then on my sister and my brother-in-law's anniversary he called and basically blew her up over the phone when she said no, to the point where she was crying on that day off all days. And then he finally said, so you're just gonna let your dad freeze to death outside tonight? My brother-in-law told him not to ever call them again, and I haven't heard from him since. He honestly thinks he is super popular and a good person, but he isn't. I blocked his number and want nothing to do with him anymore. Back to the question though, it's really weird because you end up growing to either be just like them or completely the opposite. I've had to grow up on my own and not be able to have a father figure to show me how to be a man and make smart decisions, or how to be a leader of a household. These are things that I think many people take for granted and don't fully realize how great they have it by having both parents in the house and have them not be completely focused on themselves. I always envy the people that still get to live with their parents into their 20s. I moved out when I was 18 and I'm almost 30 now, and I wish every day that I had the ability to still live at home and not have to worry about rent, utilities, car payments, insurance, gas, phone, internet, etc. You're right about the growing up like or opposite. I'm getting worried because both of my parents are freaking sick, and while I'm cutting contact once I'm out, my brother is beginning to act like my mom. It's sad to watch. My dad is a sociopath. He raised me. It's very difficult having basic friendships, relationships, holding a job. The way I was raised is extremely unconventional, leading me to not react to normal situations as a typical person would. I hope username doesn't check out. Not a sibling, a cousin. When I was 8 and my cousin was 7, I noticed my dog, Pug, missing one day. I only noticed after everything that she wasn't there that morning. I was going to ask my best friend to go play hide and seek with me. In my hiding spot I could hear my dog whimpering, and as I looked for my dog, I found her with all of her teeth ripped out and scissors in her right eye. After minor surgery she is fine, and not to say I'm happy about it, she looks hella cute even with a stitched eye. I don't know what happened to my cousin, but him and his parents were taken out of our lives forever. My sister, who is 8 years older than me, chased 6-year-old me around the house with a knife so I would leave her alone, because she was babysitting while my parents were on a date, and I needed food. IDK if this counts, but my 6-year-old brother, he was 6 when this happened, once asked my mom if he could have some of her fries. She said yes and asked why. He replied with, so I can kill seagulls. She asked why, and he replied with, so I can bait them and then kill them with rocks. My mom also asked why he would do that, and he answered, because I don't play enough Fortnite. Another time my friend accidentally stepped on my dog's paw and was like, oh god I'm so sorry and etc. Then, my brother from the other room yelled, I wish I could break the dog's paw. He's done other things like talk about how he wouldn't miss me if I died and such. I've also had dreams about him killing everyone I know, like family, pets and friends. How long ago was the first incident? 2-year divorce custody battle. I was a faithful, happy, and devoted husband and father. Gave up my music and my small business to stay home with our child by her request. She displayed great emotional and mental abuse and instability prior our child's birth, was prescribed meds which helped greatly, but went off when our child was conceived and never went back on. My goal was to protect him as much as possible. She got worse and worse again. She started a relationship and affair with another co-worker, someone she hired, and hatched a plan to destroy me, had me arrested, kicked out, left me with no money, job, vehicle, home, and told the court I was an abuser, neglectful of our child, an alcoholic, stole and wasted family funds, etc, etc. Without the court's involvement she had his education and medical block me. I have access now. Son developed bad asthma and she hid it. He was prescribed 2 inhalers and only gave me 1. When I tried to get in touch with his education and medical she claims I'm harassing them and causing problems. I went through 4 months supervised visitation for 1 hour a week. 2 CPS investigations. No case was ever opened. I have my son overnights on a more regular schedule now. She still won't settle and still wants sole custody. She took out a $120 K loan out on our app a year ago without my approval or court's knowledge, and they put it in equity. I brought in a forensic psyche who rested us and said that my test showed I was too well adjusted and therefore I must be in denial, and hers said she is prone to persecutory behavior and ideas and histrionics. I've done nothing but complied with everything, given her every olive branch, and all she does is take and accuse. She told the forensic we had a nanny, no proof and no we didn't, and that I plead guilty to the charges. I didn't and they were dropped by the court. She told the doctor our child's preschool couldn't hold or administer his medication, but I have a recording of them saying they could and do. The narcissistic personality disorder. My narcissistic brother is almost 10 years older than I, so I don't remember a lot of the things he did. I know the stories, though. He left home at 16. We did have a relationship as adults, but I cut it off realizing that he hadn't changed. He's stolen from my family members, is a pathological liar, and a con man to say the least. We call him Con Man Don. He has even lied to his children about having cancer. He is a piece of work. He has never ever acknowledged anything he's done. In fact, he acts like none of it ever happened. As of now, we do not talk. I am close to his children. I get joy out of family events my brother actually attends because I make him super uncomfortable. I also have an older sister who has gaslighted me my entire life. I didn't realize it till adulthood when people would point out her behavior to me and question it. She's narcissistic in many ways too. Never sees the error of her own ways. I can be around her, but I have to keep it limited. I finally learned to have boundaries. My sociopathic older, 3.5 years, and I shared a bedroom growing up. I slept on my stomach with my head under the pillow and my stuffed animals on both sides because she would beat me in my sleep. She would lock me in our old dilapidated spider-infested shed instead of babysitting me. She would invite me to hang with her and her friends. All I wanted was to be included in our room. Everyone would be really nice to me for like 5 minutes before my sister would snap and beat the living crap out me while her friends laughed. They bullied me all day, every day. I was sweeping the kitchen one afternoon and she walked in, snatched the broom out of my hands and proceeded to beat me with it. Telephone receivers, tennis rackets, soccer cleats, and hairbrushes were her weapons of choice. Once when I was 18, I still lived at home and she lived a couple miles away. I just got off work and she showed up at my parents' and invited me to hang out at her place and told me to bring my weed, knowing she was just using me. I told her I was tired and didn't want to go anywhere. She left and about an hour later I left to get a pack of smokes. As I'm driving down my parents' street away from their house, I see my sister barreling down the street towards me. Needless to say, she plowed right into me, totally my car. Currently my mother, my brother, his partner, his ex-wife and her husband and my 18 years old niece all have restraining orders against my now 44 years old sister. She has been banned from grocery stores and other public places for her explosive, I'm just being honest, tirades on other customers. She was arrested for assaulting one of the aforementioned family members, and as the cops were putting on the cuffs on her, she said, "I should have curb stomped the bee." Side note, my dad bails her out of every legal situation she has ever been in, so she has never been held accountable for her behavior. She literally believes laws exist for other people and not her. She is a narcissistic sociopath according to all the mental health providers I have seen over the last 25 years. Sister is a narcissist. Used to threaten me and say generally mean things when we were little. The progress to her telling lies to get me punished as we got older. And then just being manipulative and trying to use anything to get people to feel sorry for her. My younger sisters used to get called fat and told that everybody in the family was embarrassed by them. They were 8 and 13 years younger than this sister, so she was picking on a 10 and 5-year-old when she left for college. Her parents have enabled her in doing this for years by telling us other kids that we just had to learn to ignore her comments and rarely ever reprimanding her for being a bee. She is almost 50 years old now and still acts the same way, but we don't have to deal with her when we don't want to, but she still tries to divide the family and she has the best luck with me since she is the oldest and more favored. I recall the time I loaned her something and she came to me and claimed someone else broke it. I knew how this would go. She would claim that since she didn't break it she wasn't responsible, and her mother would agree and dad would follow mom, and I'd be screwed out of my present that I'd just gotten a couple weeks before. So I told the superintendent at school since it was supposedly broken at school. We got home and she botched and complained to the parents, and when she was done dad came into my room and ripped my butt with, "You don't go dragging our personal lives out in public and we'll handle this stuff at home," and never took the 2 seconds to ask my side of the story, which just enforced my belief of how it was going to go. My mom then came in and told me that social life was different in high school and I was in the wrong. Frick them. Frick them indeed. You deserve better. Family isn't crap sometimes. Every only child should read comments like these before deciding they got the short end of the stick in life by not having a sibling, a live-in childhood friend. It doesn't always work out that way. Hopefully most sibling relationships are healthy and happy throughout life, but some of them are a lifetime commitment of frustration and misery about which you can do very little. I'm an only child with a narcissist mom. I was always thankful to be an only child because I didn't want anyone else to go through her crap. Joke's in her though, I'm an adult and she gets to die alone. My sister is way too into herself. She has no real friends but she has like 60,000 Instagram followers. She literally just spends her money on new clothes and the newest iPhone to take selfies. And when I say she has no real friends I really mean it. She never leaves the house, never had a job, dropped out of high school, but she thinks she's the greatest thing God graced this planet with. I don't really talk to her because anytime I try she's just taking pictures of herself with different outfits. It's really annoying. I don't know why my parents condone finance this lifestyle. She gets it from my mom. She's kind of the same way. If she hasn't monetized 60k followers she's doing it all wrong. In recent memory, she was getting married. Bridezilla isn't even the right word for the heck she put everyone through. Our parents are wealthy business owners and they agreed to help pay for the wedding. And they got taken for a ride. She assured them that getting a tent and having it outside would be cheaper than renting a hall. It wasn't. Parents then had to buy grass seed for the area they were getting married at. They then paid the rental fees for the tent, the tables, the chairs, the washrooms, etc. They bought all the alcohol and the wood to make the dance floor with. When they were done, it was like $20k out of their own pockets. They never got a thank you, and parents of the groom, who didn't pay for anything, treated them like crap. I got really mad about how they basically took my parents' money and ran with it like a bunch of drunk sailors, and then had the gall to say they didn't even help. They work almost every day of the week and they were footing the bill. I was really sick, won't get into it, and I needed to have surgery, but I put it off because the recovery time was going to be long, and her wedding was coming up. I was also working all the time, and I was in a lot of pain. She and her maid of honor got really pissed off at me for not booking enough time off work to go to their balls. I remember not wanting to go to the bachelorette weekend because I wasn't in very good shape. She guilt tripped me and said you probably don't even want to be in my wedding and all this crap. Just not understanding my situation or what I was saying or what was wrong with me. So I went, and I was beyond miserable in more ways than one. I could write a book about everything that happened, but it really was when my sister and my brother-in-law showed their true colors. It got ugly. They made up a bunch of crap about me and my parents being unsupportive and all this crap. She still brings it up. That was 2 years ago. We don't talk very much now. When we were younger, we had no heat and he would come into my room and take my covers. I was too small to fight back, so I'd just lay there and freeze all night. He'd threaten me that he'd hurt me if I told our mom. As we got older, he became a drug addict. He would steal my mom's pain medication and anxiety medication so he could get high. If my mom had any money, he'd steal it from her. He used to steal her car, but she wouldn't do anything because she didn't want him in jail. After my mom died, he broke into our house and stole several of our things. The cops said they could do nothing about it. He got all his kids taken away because he and his baby mama were doing M while she was breastfeeding and their baby almost died. He still says that his kids shouldn't have been taken away. He seriously doesn't understand. He actually said to my dad, "She just smoked a little bit. I don't know what the big deal is, they are about to have another baby." I hate him and want nothing to do with him. We are half siblings. Our older brother, who was his full sibling, died earlier this year and I constantly wonder why it was him and not my awful brother. I don't even consider him family anymore. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.